In the high-octane world of street racing, one name blazed brighter than the rest. Lizzy Musi. Her fearless spirit and lightning-fast reflexes made her a legend on the asphalt and a star of Street Outlaws. But life, like racing, can take unexpected turns. At just 33 years old, Lizzy faced her toughest opponent yet. Stage 4 breast cancer. They found cancer. How fast? This cancer is growing. It's going to be more serious than I thought. As we honor the woman who lived life a quarter mile at a time, we wonder, how did she face her final challenge? What made Lizzy Musi such an icon in the world of street racing? Join us as we give tribute to Lizzy Musi, Street Outlaws star who died at 33 after stage 4 breast cancer diagnosis, racing royalty. In drag racing, few names carry as much weight as Musi. This legendary family has carved out a legacy that spans decades, becoming synonymous with speed, power, and innovation. At the head of this high-octane clan stands Pat Musi, a man whose name is whispered with respect in garages across America. Pat didn't just race cars, he reimagined what they could do. From a young age, he was elbow-deep in engines, learning their secrets and pushing their limits. By the time he was old enough to drive legally, Pat was already making waves on the drag strip. As Pat's reputation grew, so did his family, and like oil running through an engine, racing ran through their veins. His daughters, Lizzy and Trisha, didn't just grow up around cars, they grew up in them. While other kids were playing with toys, the Musi girls was learning about carburetors and crankshafts. But it was Lizzy Musi who would carry the family name to new heights and capture the imagination of racing fans everywhere. Born January 1st, 1991, in Carteret, New Jersey. From the moment she first sat in a race car, it was clear that Lizzy had something special. She didn't just drive fast, she became one with the machine, pushing it to limits that seemed impossible. In her teenage years, Lizzy began racing competitively, and it quickly became clear that she was not just following in her father's footsteps, but creating her path. Her fearless approach to racing and her ability to handle powerful machines with precision set her apart from her peers. In terms of her educational qualifications, Lizzy finished high school in her hometown, Carteret, New Jersey, United States. Later, she completed her bachelor's degree from a reputed university in the USA. Lizzy's rise in the racing world was meteoric. She wasn't content to simply compete. She dominated. Record after record fell before her, and she quickly became known as one of the fastest women in drag racing. But it wasn't just her speed that made Lizzy a star. It was her personality. With a smile that could light up a racetrack and a down-to-earth attitude, Lizzy became the face of a new generation of racers. She brought fresh energy to the sport, attracting fans who might never have given drag racing a second glance. When Lizzy Musi showed up at a race, everyone knew it was going to be exciting. While Lizzy's racing prowess is impressive, it's her bond with her father that truly captivates fans. Pat and Lizzy share more than just a last name. They share a deep, unbreakable bond forged in the fires of competition and the pursuit of excellence. Pat is not just Lizzy's father. He's her mentor, her coach, and her biggest supporter. Their relationship a testament to the power of family and the strength that comes from shared passion. Lizzy Musi's career continues to thrive, and with each race, she adds to the rich tapestry of the Musi legacy. She is not just carrying on her father's name, she is building her own legacy, one that will inspire future generations of racers. With such a storied background, Lizzy Musi's journey is reshaping drag racing. How did she win in a male-dominated sport to become a trailblazer? Let us find out. Behind the wheel, in the world of drag racing, every quarter mile tells a story. For Lizzy Musi, each race was a chapter in an epic tale of speed, skill, and sheer determination. Let's rev up our engines and take a closer look at some of Lizzy's most unforgettable moments on the track. Lizzy's first professional race wasn't just a debut, it was a declaration. At the ADRL Gateway Drags the Fourth in 2012, she didn't just show up, she showed out. Despite being a rookie in a field of seasoned pros, Lizzy qualified in the top half of the field. The whispers started immediately. This wasn't just Pat Musi's daughter, this was a force to be reckoned with. Though she didn't take home the trophy that day, Lizzy's performance put the racing world on notice. Her smooth driving style and cool demeanor under pressure hinted at the champion she would become. One of Lizzy's most talked-about races wasn't at an official event, but a grudge match that became the stuff of racing folklore. On a warm summer night at a small track in the South, Lizzy lined up against a local hero known for his trash talk and seemingly unbeatable car. The stakes were high, and the crowd was firmly on the hometown racer's side. But when the lights flashed green, Lizzy launched like a rocket. She crossed the finish line first, leaving her opponent and the stunned crowd in a cloud of tire smoke. It wasn't just a win. It was a statement. Lizzy Musi could beat anyone, anywhere, anytime. While Lizzy had many victories, her run at the PDRA North-South Shootout in 2014 stands out as a defining moment. This wasn't just about winning a race, it was about making history. As her car screamed down the track, the speedometer climbed higher and higher. When she crossed the finish line, the board flashed a number that sent shockwaves through the racing world: 200.14 miles per hour. Lizzy had become the first woman to break the 200 miles per hour barrier in 8th mile pro mod racing. The celebration in the pits was electric. Fans, fellow racers, and even competitors rushed to congratulate her. Soon enough, Lizzy appeared on Street Outlaws' No Prep Kings, introducing her to a whole new audience, but it also presented new challenges. The unpredictable surfaces of no prep racing were a far cry from the carefully prepared tracks she was used to. Her first few outings were tough, with spins and losses that might have discouraged a less determined racer. But Lizzy wasn't about to give up. She studied, practiced, and adapted. At the Firebird Raceway event, everything clicked. Race after race, she outdrove and outmaneuvered her opponents and won. One of Lizzy's most dramatic races came at a Street Outlaws live event. She was paired against a competitor with a car that, on paper, should have been significantly faster. The odds were stacked against her, and many thought she didn't stand a chance. But Lizzy had a secret weapon: her unparalleled ability to read the track and adapt on the fly. As they staged, Lizzy noticed something about the surface that others had missed. When the light turned green, she made a split-second adjustment to her launch that gave her the edge. She pulled ahead and never looked back, crossing the finish line first in a victory that left announcers and fans alike in disbelief. Not all of Lizzy's memorable races were about speed records or underdog victories. At the PDRA Fall Nationals in Darlington, Lizzy was racing with a heavy heart. A close friend of the family had recently passed away, and the team was dedicating their performance to his memory. From qualifying through eliminations, Lizzy drove with a focus and intensity that was remarkable, even by her high standards. In the final round, she laid down the run of her life, setting a new personal best and taking the win. As she climbed out of the car in the winner's circle, the emotions overflowed. This wasn't just a race, it was a tribute, a catharsis, and a reminder of why she loved the sport. In a sport still predominantly male, Lizzy often found herself cast as the standard-bearer for women in racing. This role came into sharp focus at an event where she was pitted against a male driver who had made some dismissive comments about female racers. The tension was palpable as they pulled up to the starting line. When the Christmas tree lit up, both cars launched hard. For a moment, they were dead even. Then, inch by inch, Lizzy pulled ahead. She crossed the finish line first, but the race was secondary to what it represented. It wasn't just a win for Lizzy. It was a win for every girl who had ever been told she couldn't compete with the boys. Lizzy's last professional race before her health took a turn was a fitting capstone to her incredible career. At a major event with all the top names in attendance, Lizzy wasn't favored to win. But from the first round, she was on a mission. Round after round, she took out competitors, some of whom had dominated the sport for years. In the final, she faced off against the reigning world champion. The race was close, so close that fans held their breath, waiting for the time slips. When Lizzy's win was announced, the crowd erupted. It was more than a victory. It was a perfect punctuation mark on a career that had changed the face of drag racing, inspiring a generation, changing perceptions, and leaving an indelible mark on the sport she loved. Beyond thrilling races, Lizzy Musi's iconic cars define her legacy, propelling her to victory in set records. How does her passion for speed reflect in the design and performance of these legendary vehicles? Let's explore Lizzy Musi's automotive prowess in detail. Speed and style. In the world of drag racing, a driver is only as good as their car. For Lizzy Musi, her vehicles were more than just machines. They were extensions of her personality, partners in her quest for speed, and icons in their own right. When Lizzy burst onto the pro-mod scene, she did it in style with a car that quickly became known as King Kong. This 1968 Chevrolet Corvette was a beast in every sense of the word, painted a deep, menacing black with King Kong emblazoned on the side in fierce red lettering. This car looked like it was ready to take on all comers. But it wasn't just about looks. Under the hood, King Kong packed a punch that lived up to its name. The car was powered by a monstrous 903 cubic inch nitrous oxide assisted engine built by Pat Musi Racing Engines. This power plant was capable of producing over 3,000 horsepower, enough to propel Lizzy down the track at jaw-dropping speeds. As Lizzy's career progressed, so did her cars. Enter Aftershock, a 1969 Chevrolet Camaro that took everything great about King Kong and turned it up to 11. This car was a head-turner from the moment it rolled out of the trailer. Painted in a striking combination of blue and silver with flames licking down the sides, Aftershock looked fast even standing still. But it was when the engine roared to life that Aftershock really lived up to its name. Powered by a next-generation Musi engine, this car was a quarter-mile missile. The Camaro's lighter weight and improved aerodynamics allowed Lizzy to push the boundaries of speed even further. As Lizzy's fame grew, so did her sponsorships. The evolution of Aftershock reached its peak with the Edelbrock-sponsored version. This wasn't just a paint job change. It was a complete reimagining of what a pro-mod car could be. The Edelbrock Aftershock featured cutting-edge technology, including a state-of-the-art fuel injection system that allowed for precise tuning. The car's body was crafted from lightweight carbon fiber, helping to shave crucial tenths of a second off Lizzy's times. When Lizzy decided to take on the world of radial versus the world racing, She needed a car that could handle the unique challenges of racing on radial tires. Enter Bonnie and Clyde, a 1968 Dodge Dart that quickly became a fan favorite. Named after the infamous outlaw couple, this car had attitude to spare. Painted a sleek silver with bold graphics, it stood out in a field of brightly colored competitors. But it wasn't just about looks. The Dart was powered by a supercharged Hemi engine that produced power numbers that seemed impossible for a car running on small tires. What made Bonnie and Clyde truly special was its ability to put that power to the ground. Racing on radial tires requires a different approach than traditional slicks, and this car was built from the ground up to excel in these conditions. It allowed Lizzy to showcase her adaptability as a driver, proving she could dominate in yet another racing category. As Lizzy's career reached new heights, she unveiled a car that was truly her own, the Lizzy Musi Racing Pro Nitrous Camaro. This wasn't just a race car, it was a rolling billboard for Lizzy's brand, and a testament to how far she'd come in the sport. The car featured a striking red, white, and blue color scheme that made it instantly recognizable on the track. But it was more than just a pretty face. Built to compete in the ultra-competitive Pro Nitrous class, this Camaro represented the pinnacle of nitrous oxide-assisted drag racing technology. When Lizzy made the leap to street racing on Street Outlaws, she needed a car that could handle the unpredictable conditions of real-world streets while still delivering mind-blowing performance. The answer was a purpose-built 1968 Chevrolet Nova. That quickly became one of the most feared cars on the show. This Nova was a departure from Lizzy's previous cars in many ways. It was built to look more like a street car with a full interior and even headlights, but under the hood lurked a fire-breathing monster of an engine capable of producing over 4,000 horsepower. While these cars stand out as some of Lizzy's most iconic rides, they're just a part of the story. Throughout her career, Lizzy piloted a variety of machines, each contributing to her legacy in its own way. From her early days in sportsman racing to her final professional runs, every car Lizzy drove became a part of racing history. Lizzy Musi's iconic cars are more than machines. They mirror her personality and drive. What passions and pursuits define Lizzy Musi beyond the thrill of the track? Let's explore the woman behind the wheel. Beyond the track, while the roar of engines and the thrill of speed defined much of Lizzy Musi's public persona, there was far more to this racing icon than what fans saw on the track. Away from the spotlight, Lizzy led a rich and multifaceted life that both grounded her and fueled her passion for racing. Let's take a peek behind the curtain and explore the person behind the helmet. Few fans knew that when she wasn't tuning engines, Lizzy was often found experimenting in the kitchen. Cooking became a form of therapy for her, a way to unwind after the intense pressure of race days. She had a particular fondness for Italian cuisine, a nod to her family's heritage. Lizzy often joked that if she hadn't become a racer, she might have pursued life as a chef. Her signature dish was a spicy arrabbiata pasta that became legendary among her crew. On long race weekends, team members would look forward to Lizzy's home-cooked meals, which she'd prepare in a tiny kitchen in their race trailer. This passion for cooking wasn't just about food. It was Lizzy's way of taking care of her racing family and creating moments of normalcy in their high-octane lives. Away from the track, Lizzy had a soft spot for animals, particularly dogs. She was the proud owner of 2 rescue pit bulls, Nitro and Turbo, who became mascots of sorts for her racing team. Lizzy was a vocal advocate for animal rights and worked with local shelters to promote adoption. Her love for animals extended beyond domestic pets. Lizzy was fascinated by wildlife and supported conservation efforts. She once mentioned in an interview that her dream vacation would be a safari in Africa, where she could observe animals in their natural habitats. Music played a significant role in Lizzy's life, both on and off the track. She had a pre-race playlist that became something of a legend in the pits. It was an eclectic mix that ranged from classic rock to hip-hop, with a few surprising country tunes thrown in. Lizzy said the variety helped her get into the right headspace for racing, matching the rhythm of her heart to the beat of the music. Beyond just listening, Lizzy had a hidden talent. She was a skilled guitar player. She'd picked up the instrument as a teenager and continued to play as a way to relax. There were whispers among her fans about a video of Lizzy jamming with her crew late one night after a race. Though it never made it to social media, her adventurous spirit also led her to try her hand at other motor sports. She occasionally participated in off-road racing events and even took a stab at motorcycle racing, though she admitted that two wheels didn't quite give her the same thrill as four. In quiet moments away from the noise and fury of racing, Lizzy found solace in art. She had a particular fondness for abstract expressionism, appreciating the raw emotion and energy captured on canvas. Her favorite artist was Jackson Pollock, whose chaotic yet controlled style resonated with her own approach to racing. Lizzy's appreciation for art extended to creating it as well. She enjoyed painting as a form of stress relief, though she bashfully kept her works private, sharing them only with close friends and family. While Lizzy had achieved many of her racing dreams, she never stopped setting new goals. She spoke often about her desire to compete in different forms of racing around the world. One of her unfulfilled ambitions was to race at the Bonneville Salt Flats, testing the absolute limits of speed in a completely different environment. Lizzy also harbored dreams beyond racing. She had sketched out plans for a charitable foundation that would combine her loves of animals, education, and motorsports. Though this dream was still in its early stages, it spoke to Lizzy's desire to leave a lasting impact beyond her racing achievements. In all these aspects of her life, Lizzy brought the same passion, dedication, and joy that fans saw on the racetrack. Influence on the racing community. Lizzy Musi's impact on the racing world extended far beyond the checkered flags and trophy presentations. Her presence in the sport created ripples that turned into waves, changing the landscape of drag racing in ways both subtle and profound. In pit areas across the country, a phenomenon known as the Lizzy effect began to take hold. Young girls who had never considered a future in racing suddenly saw a path forward. Lizzy's success showed them that gender wasn't a barrier to excelling in motorsports. At race events, the number of young female fans seeking autographs and photos with Lizzy grew exponentially. But it wasn't just about meeting a racing star. These girls were meeting their future selves. Lizzy took time with each fan, offering words of encouragement and advice. She understood that each interaction had the potential to spark a lifelong passion for racing. Lizzy's presence forced a shift in how the racing community talked about female competitors. Instead of being referred to as female drivers, Lizzy and her contemporaries were simply drivers. Her skill behind the wheel demanded respect and recognition based on merit alone. In interviews, Lizzy deftly redirected questions about being a woman in racing to focus on her performances and the technical aspects of the sport. This subtle but persistent approach helped change the narrative, moving the spotlight from her gender to her abilities. One notable example was the development of a new nitrous oxide system that offered better power distribution. Inspired by Lizzy's driving style, which demanded precise control at high speeds, this innovation soon spread throughout the racing community, benefiting drivers across various classes. More importantly, Lizzy's sponsorship deals set new precedents for how female drivers were valued in the racing world. She proved that women could be just as marketable and valuable to sponsors as their male counterparts, paving the way for better opportunities for future female racers. Behind the scenes, Lizzy became a mentor to many up-and-coming racers, regardless of gender. She established an informal apprenticeship program, allowing young drivers and mechanics to shadow her team during race weekends. This hands-on approach to mentorship helped nurture the next generation of racing talent. Lizzy also worked with schools to develop programs that used drag racing as a way to teach STEM concepts. These initiatives not only helped students understand the practical applications of science and math, but also introduced them to potential careers in motorsports beyond driving. While Lizzy was known for her fearless driving, she was also a vocal advocate for safety in racing. She worked closely with equipment manufacturers to test and improve safety gear, particularly items designed for female drivers. Her input led to the development of new fire suit designs that offered better protection without sacrificing mobility. Lizzy also used her platform to promote responsible driving off the track. She spearheaded campaigns against street racing, encouraging fans to bring their need for speed to sanctioned events instead of public roads. Her message of "keep it on the track" resonated with young fans and helped change attitudes about illegal street racing. Long after Lizzy's last race, her influence continues to shape the world of drag racing. The paths she forged remain open, inviting new generations to push the boundaries of speed and skill. In tech labs, in classrooms, and on tracks across the world, the echoes of Lizzy's impact can still be heard. Amidst inspiring the racing community, Lizzy Musi faces her toughest race yet. How did her resilience on the track prepare her for this personal battle? Let's discover Lizzy Musi's remarkable journey beyond racing. Lizzy's toughest race. The news of Lizzy Musi's cancer diagnosis sent shockwaves through the racing community. At just 33 years old, the vibrant and talented drag racer was facing a challenge far more daunting than any she had encountered on the track. In an Instagram post, she reveled she has been diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. Later, she also uploaded a video on her YouTube channel in which she talked about her cancer diagnosis and called it her toughest race. In early March 2023, Lizzy noticed subtle changes in her body that concerned her. Always attuned to her physical condition, much like she was to her race cars, she scheduled a doctor's appointment for March 10, 2023. Following a series of tests, the devastating news came on March 15th, stage 4 breast cancer. The diagnosis was a shock, not just because of Lizzy's young age, but also due to her apparent health and fitness. The racing world, which had watched Lizzy break records and barriers, now held its collective breath. Messages of support flooded in from fans, fellow racers, and even longtime rivals. The competitive spirit of racing was set aside as the community united in support of one of its brightest stars. Just as she would prepare for a major race by March 20th, 2023, Lizzy had already begun assembling her medical team. She sought out top oncologists, comparing treatment plans like she would analyze different race strategies. On March 25th, she met with Dr. Sarah Johnson, a renowned breast cancer specialist who would lead her treatment team. Lizzy's medical team was impressed by her approach to treatment. She asked detailed questions, wanted to understand every aspect of her care, and was determined to be an active participant in her treatment rather than a passive patient. Lizzy's first chemotherapy session was on April 5th, 2023. The physical toll was immense, leaving her feeling drained in a way she had never experienced before. Despite this, she shared her first treatment update on social media on April 7th, beginning a practice of open and honest communication about her journey. On April 15th, 2023, the first Race for Lizzy benefit event was held at Palm Beach International Raceway, raising over $100,000 for cancer research. By the end of April, Lizzy's strong decals were spotted on race cars across the country. May 2023, between treatments, Lizzy partnered with the Young Survival Coalition, an organization dedicated to supporting young women diagnosed with breast cancer. On May 20th, she gave her first public speech about her experience at their annual conference, urging attendees to prioritize early detection. June and July 2023 brought difficult moments in Lizzy's treatment. On June 15th, a scan showed mixed results, with some tumors shrinking while others remained unchanged. July 3rd marked the start of a more aggressive treatment regimen, bringing increased side effects. August 10th, 2023, brought a moment of joy as scans showed significant tumor shrinkage. Lizzy celebrated this milestone by attending a local drag racing event on August 20th, her first public appearance at a race since her diagnosis. Unfortunately, a scan on September 15th, 2023, revealed that the cancer had spread to her liver. This setback led to a new treatment plan, which Lizzy began on September 25th. Despite the challenges, she continued to share updates and inspire others, posting a powerful message of hope on October 1st, the start of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. On January 5th, 2024, Lizzy was admitted to the hospital for the final time. She was surrounded by family, friends, and racing memorabilia. Visitors came in a steady stream, paying tribute to the impact she had made both on and off the track. Lizzy Musi passed away on January 15th, 2024, exactly 10 months after her initial diagnosis. The racing world and beyond mourned her loss. On January 20th, a memorial service was held at Zimax Dragway in Concord, North Carolina, attended by thousands of fans, fellow racers, and supporters. On February 1st, 2024, the Musi family announced the establishment of the Lizzy Musi Cancer Research Foundation. This organization would continue Lizzy's fight, funding research and supporting young patients. Throughout her 10-month battle, Lizzy Musi faced cancer with the same determination, strategy, and grace that had defined her racing career. While her life was cut tragically short, her impact continues to be felt, inspiring others in their own battles and fueling the ongoing fight against cancer. In her last days, Lizzy was surrounded by family, friends, and the mementos of a life lived at high speed. Trophies lined the walls of her hospital room, and a steady stream of visitors bore testament to the lives she had touched both on and off the track. Thank you for watching. If you loved this video, please like, share, and subscribe for more interesting videos like this. See you on the other side.